Wow, here we are again today, Brother Peter, with tidbits from the Word. This may be the same day you are watching another one, and it may not be, because there are many on here to watch. You can watch them many days. But this is a extra long chapter 6 of the book of John. And it has many different stories. It is multiple stories in this one chapter. Christ feeds the 5,000. Christ walks on the water. Christ says, I am the bread of life. And he is rejected by many followers. And so we see there, and then the conclusion of it, he's confessed by Peter. And so we see it's a yin and a yang. It's like a yo-yo. It's up and down. And there's a lot in it. But we're going to go ahead and think we're going to read it all. If you have a pencil and a paper, Matthew 14, 13 through 21 is a remarkable resemblance to this. Mark 6, 31 through 44, Luke 9, 11, and 17 is the stories where Jesus fed the 5,000. After these things, Jesus went over the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias, and a great multitude followed him, because they saw his miracle, which he did on them that were diseased. And Jesus went up into the mountain, and there he sat with his disciples, and the Passover, a feast of the Jews, was nigh. And when Jesus then lifted up his eyes, and saw a great company come unto him, he saith unto Philip, Whence shall we buy bread, that these may eat? And this he said to prove him, for he knew himself what he would do. And Philip answered him, 200 pennies worth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may take a little. One of the disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, saith unto him, There is a lad here which hath 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes. And what are they among so many? And Jesus saith unto him, Make the men sit down. And now there was much grass in that place. So the men sat down in number about 5,000. And you know that was the men. That didn't count the women and children. There was a great multitude there, probably as much as 15,000 people. And Jesus took the loaves when he had given thanks and distributed them to the disciples, and the disciples them that was set down, and likewise of the fishes as much as they would. And when they were filled, he said unto his disciples, Gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. Therefore they gathered them up, baskets filled, 12 with fragments of the 5 barley loaves, which remained over and above unto them that had eaten. And then those men, when they had seen the miracle that Jesus did, said, This is of a truth that prophet that should come into the world. And then Jesus, therefore, perceived what they would come and take him by force to make him a king. He departed again unto a mountain himself alone. And when even was now come, his disciples went down unto the sea, and entered into the ship, and went over the sea toward Capernaum. And it was now dark, and Jesus was not come to them. And the sea rose by reason of a great wind, and was tempestuous. So when they had rowed about 25 furlongs, 30 furlongs, they see Jesus walking on the sea, and drawing nigh unto the ship. And they were afraid. But he saith unto them, It is I, be not afraid. And then they willingly received him unto the ship, and immediately the ship was at the land, whither they went. I am the bread of life, Jesus says. And they are following, when the people which stood on the other side of the sea saw that there was none other boat there, save that one whereunto his disciples were entered into, and that Jesus went not with his disciples into the boat, but that his disciples were gone away alone. Howbeit, there came other boats from Tiberias nigh unto that place, where they did eat bread. After that Jesus had given thanks. And when the people therefore saw that Jesus was there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping and came to Capernaum, seeking for Jesus. And when they had found him on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when comest thou hither? Jesus answered them and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, ye seek me not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat of the loaves and were filled. Labor not for meat which perisheth, but for the meat which endureth unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him hath God the Father sealed. Then said they unto him, What shall we do that we might work the works of God? And Jesus answered and said unto them, This is the work of God, that ye believe on him whom he hath sent. Then said they unto him, What sign showest thou then, that we may see and believe thee? What dost thou work? Our father did eat manna in the desert, as it written, He gave them bread from heaven to eat. Then Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father giveth you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he which cometh down from heaven, and giveth life unto the world. He's speaking of himself, by the way. Then said they unto him, Lord, evermore give us this bread. And Jesus saith unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. But I said unto you, that ye also have seen me, and believe not. All that the Father giveth me shall come to me, and him that cometh to me I will in no wise cast out. For I came down from heaven, not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me. And this is the Father's will, which hath sent me, that of all which he hath given me should lose nothing, but should raise it up against at the last day. And this is the will of him that sent me, that every one which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will rise up against him on the last day. And the Jews then murmured at him, because he said, I am the bread which cometh down from heaven. And they said, Is not this Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How is it that he saith, I come down from heaven? Jesus therefore answered and said unto them, Murmur not among yourselves. No man can come to me, except the Father, which hath sent me, draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets, And thou shalt be all thought of God. Every man, therefore, that hath heard and hath learned of the Father cometh unto me. Not that any man hath seen the Father, save he which is of God, that he hath seen the Father. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me hath everlasting life. I am the bread of life. Your father did eat manna in the wilderness, and are dead. This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof, and not die. I am the living bread, which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. And the Jews therefore strove among themselves, saying, How can this man give us his flesh to eat? Then Jesus saith unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man, and drink his blood, ye have no life in you. Whosoever eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him. As the living Father hath sent me, and I live by the Father, so he that eateth me, even he shall live by me. This is that bread which came down from heaven, not as your father did eat manna and are dead. He that eateth of this bread shall live forever. These things said he in the synagogue, as he taught in Capernaum. Many therefore of his disciples, when they heard this, said, This is an hard saying. How can we hear it? And when Jesus knew in himself that his disciples murmured at it, he said unto them, Doth this offend you? What if ye shall see the Son of Man ascending up where he was before? And it is the Spirit that quickeneth the flesh. Profiteth nothing the words that I speak unto you. They are spirit, and they are life. But there are some of you that believeth not. For Jesus knew from the beginning who they were that believed not, and whom should betray him. And he said, Therefore said I unto you, that no man can come unto me, except it were given unto my Father. From that time many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. Then said Jesus unto the 12, Will ye go away also? Then Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? Thou hast the words of eternal life, and we believe and are sure that thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Jesus answered them, Have not I chosen you 12, and one of you is a devil? He spake of Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon, for he it was that should betray him, being one of the 12. And that is the end of chapter 6. And we will see you next time. Right, Brother Peter saying, have a good day. Bye-bye.